Part 86. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 856. The mysterious magic weapon of Shenqian ancient corpse cracked, and after Shen Nian collapsed, the spirit of Shenqian on the remaining residual body also flew away. Soon when Wei Suo and Ling Longtian collected the U-bricks of the chemical U-pool, completely transformed into decayed wood. This completely woody flesh is no longer useful. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian did not charge it, and buried it directly in the big pit left after the various U-bricks of the chemical U-pond were excavated. Completely gone. Out of the core of the UN magnetic mountain, the flat ruler naturally accumulating in the UN magnetic vortex, Wei Suoxian did not forcibly charge it, lest it might cause a change in the vitality of the entire UN magnetic mountain and affect their subsequent stealing of Daigo Shenkuo. Then Wei Suo continued to explore the veins of the ancient Mother Earth, and continued to move towards the Kaibao Midi. Mingning probably found out the clues. I am afraid that the Wu Shenjun who was 2000 years ago has entered the Yuanxi mountain. I want to use the excuse to find the Yuanxi gems to find the trace of the Wu god. Ling Long Heaven is very suspicious that Mingning is looking for this worry-free god, because no matter how much ordinary UN magic gems are obtained, at most they can only make Xuanjia magic weapons, and Mingning certainly cannot know that Yuanxishan's a flat ruler equivalent to a half-fairy has been bred in the metamagnetic vortex. With Mingning's cultivation and identity, although Xianji's special magic weapon is important, it should not be taken to such an extent, and he should not be personally touched. If he can show the worry-free prince, he can come to the worry-free prince, and as a disciple of his meritorious orthodox and true suzerainty, he can certainly receive the inheritance of the worry-free prince. Treasure. It is a pity that in this place, monks with general body-quenching techniques cannot enter at all. Unless the body is comparable to the monks of the Xianbing, it is possible to enter, and now the woody body of the worry-free prince is obtained. Wei Suo, I also think it is very possible, but the worry-free prince sits here, and unless there is divine mystery who can enter the ground to investigate, even if all the true disciples of the merit sect are dispatched and all enter the Yuanxi mountain, this place will not be available. Good luck. This metamagnetic ore vein has been extended into Park Feng. This metamagnetic ore vein is so stretched, no wonder the metamagnetic vortex at the core is very amazing, and it can breed the extreme Taoist soldiers that contain the avenue. What an accident, when sneaking to thousands of feet at the bottom of Park Feng where the 7 treasures are located, Ling Longtian had seen a circle of Buddha light covering the bottom of the entire Park Feng. The prohibition of the mountains is very grand, all from the hands of powerful generations, and although Ling Longtian can be cracked strongly, I don't know if this Buddha is magical. Will it cause any major changes? But the luck is excellent. This metamagnetic ore vein has been extended into Park Feng. This Buddha light prohibition produces distortions around the metamagnetic ore vein. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian entered through the metamagnetic ore vein, and directly passed over silently. The grand ban on Park Feng's outermost layer. Wei Suo selected the tip of the ore vein obliquely upwards, and wanted to break the surface of Park Feng first, and then saw the opportunity. According to his perception, this metamagnetic ore vein reached its end within a few miles, forcibly breaking stones from the mountain all the way, and breaking through, it is very likely to be discovered. A moment later, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian shot from a tip of the UN magnetic ore vein, and the whole UN regained its flow. The ancient fierce fire of Wei Suo opened the way, and soon, with a puff, the two came out of a cliff. Rushing out, there is a deep abyss in the mountain ahead. In front of the dark abyss in this mountain, the two stopped suddenly, and at the same time felt a strange aura. This kind of breath machine seems to have a powerful thing, and shortly after passing here, some unconscious Mao creeps. Is there any other ghost thing like that of the mysterious ancient corpse? Ling Longtian is very speechless. Who thought that he would sneak in from the ground and encounter strange things? Anyway, here is also a big glass door. Among the mountain gates, it is not in the endless wasteland outside the sky dome. Call. Just when the two had just stopped, a sudden burst of air suddenly came from below. It's a wild monster. A soaring demon chi came immediately, and with a strong desolate atmosphere, it is obvious that there are desolate demon beasts that are far away in age, and the grade is absolutely high. Wei Suo took a deep breath. It is very dangerous to do this kind of place. If there is a strong monk in this big park peak, it is easy to be perceived. But in this case, we can only see if we can kill the enemy in one fell swoop, and try not to make a big shock. He plans to use the great multiplication sounds obtained from the Zhenyan Wu first, and then play the missing moon. Don't do it, but Ling Longtian suddenly stopped. A grey figure disappeared in the abyss below, and immediately retreated. This grey figure is very similar to a crow, but its size is 5 or 6 times larger than a normal crow. It is an abyss crow. This mountain has existed for a long time, no less than some wild ancient mountains. This abyss crow has already had some spirituality, at least it is 2 or 3,000 years old. Ling Long Heaven was relieved. What level of monster was the abyss crow originally? I think this abyss crow has at least 8 levels of advanced ranks. Wei Suo frowned and asked, how come it suddenly retreated? It felt the breath on me. Ling Longtian glanced at Wei Suo and explained, the abyss crow is also an alien that has been handed down from ancient times. It has an 8-level intermediate level in itself. It feels that there is a metamorphosis in me. The breath of the descendants of the big demon was shocked, so he retreated. It turns out that the descendants of the old demon met the descendants of the demon king. Wei Suo murmured. Let's go. Ling Longtian Bei Wei Weizhuo did not say much, but led the way in front. At this moment, she is just looking for a way to return to the ground first, but her perception is better than Wei Suo's perception is much more useful. Ling Longtian led the way in the front, along many mountain rifts, holes all the way up. Wei Suo poured out his consciousness, covering 10,000 square feet, and the abyss crow at the rear seemed to come out and watch it, but it was fast shrank back, obviously confirming the breath on Ling Longtian's body, not to dare to head. There was no accident. After half an hour, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian quietly broke through the ground and drilled out of the ground. This is a forest wasteland at the foot of Dapufeng Mountain. Around it is an ancient tree that can only be embraced by more than 10 people. There is a ruin not far in front, and one of them is an almost intact yellow temple located there. This is an emerald Bodhi, and it just grew up here casually, and no one took care of it specially. Ling Longtian glanced at the scene of the ruins in front of him, and immediately couldn't help transmitting the sentence to Wei Suo. There is an old Bodhi tree in the open space in front of the little yellow ancient temple, which only grows more than 20 leaves, but each leaf is like the finest emerald green, crystal clear, and shining with divine light. Emerald Bodhi is a kind of spirit that can dispel the evil spirits of many demon pill. As long as there is this thing, many high-level demon pills without suitable pill formula can also be refined into spiritual pill that can be used for cultivation. This emerald Bodhi is an omnipotent accessory in the eyes of many practitioners. It is an amazing treasure. This kind of thing actually grows here quietly, there are no humans around, and within the range of tens of thousands of feet, there is no monk. The 7 treasures is the most powerful place for the meritorious deeds to return to the original, and the descendants can't even comprehend the mysteries around the Zhenyan Wu and the Songmu temple. Change, I am afraid that I will lose the charm and lose the most powerful inheritance. Now that the Zhenyan Wu and Songmu Zhenayuan have completely disappeared, maybe the monks of the next meritorious deeds will have to use the big park peak. Some are arranged, Wei Suo said to Ling Longtian. This emerald Bodhi is a treasure for any monk. These more than 20 leaves can make many high-level spirits, but he is afraid of being discovered, and he has not collected it for the time being. Sneaking stealth. The entire Dapa Peak is completely barren and natural, there are no monks, and many ancient buildings have become ruins. On a cliff in the middle of the mountainside, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian also showed a hanging ancient temple. This ancient temple has also collapsed in the second half, completely pine wood, many pine wood has been decaying, looks ordinary, It is only 4 or 5 feet in size, but in this small ancient temple full of dust, there is a blue bronze lamp placed on a decayed wood case, but there is obviously a divine pattern looming. This piece of ordinary appearance, the cyan bronze lamp, actually contains the statute of the avenue, which is something left over by some powerful person. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian are also very excited about this, but they dare not charge this thing for the time being. There are 2 old class characters. The entire Dapa peak is close to the top of the mountain, and there are no monks at all. However, when approaching the top of the back mountain, Wei Suo immediately felt it. At this moment, among the 7 treasures, there was an old and powerful breath. And in the band places with barrier eye bands on the back of Kaibao Midi, Ling Longtian also saw a small courtyard with an old antique monk in it. Gong Dizong, an old-fashioned figure with a striking heritage, is not comparable to ordinary old-fashioned figures. There may be something that can threaten Shenxian, although with the strength of Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, it must be dealt with. These 2 old-fashioned characters are probably not difficult, but they have no confidence in dealing with them silently and without being recognized by merit. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian did not dare to act rashly, and they hid outside the 7 treasures and waited. After waiting for 3 days, the majestic bells suddenly sounded throughout the whole meritocracy. The 2 old antiques of Gong Dizong each turned into an aurora and shot de Pufeng. The comparison of the peaks of the meritorious sect has officially begun. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 857. Chapter 857 is too aggressive. We have an appointment with True Martial Sect and Sky Sword Sect. True Martial Sect Master arrive in person. Su Shengxiu and Wang Wei hit the Immortal Ascension Sect Master last time, but they were finally escaped by the Immortal Ascension Sect Master. The last time I was in a hurry to meet the Immortal Ascension Sect Master was to help the Immortal Ascension Sect Master. So, Mystic Wind Sect is not there, only True Martial Sect Master, a divine mystic great treasure. Yes, Mystic Wind Sect thinks that the 4 divine mystic great treasures are enough, so I just provided a powerful shapeshift great art. What is the powerful shapeshift great art? What the hell is the shapeshift great art? I don't know. In addition to the True Martial Sect Master, how many old antique characters are there, and where is the secret place? They set up in the Huanglong waterfall area and there were more than 20 people. Damn swindler, do you still want to deal with the fellows of heavenly profound continent? Ling Longtian couldn't help but shake the teeth and sound transmission into Wei Suo's ears. According to her understanding of Wei Suo is so careful about True Martial Sect, and it must have been moved to deal with them. My group of fellow villagers are coming here, of course, I have to entertain them. Wei Suo does not deny that sound transmission to Ling Longtian's ears. Do you have the means to contact them? Will they know the change of this secret place at the moment? Wei Suo then asked Mengde. It was originally sent to them by a shapeshift great art device that I respected, but I am afraid, Mengde replied indefinitely. Your master's body is destroyed. Is there any secret place to recover? Wei Suo's eyes flickered for a moment, continue to ask. I haven't got all of his inheritance, so I don't know. Do you want to live? Wei Suo cold sounded a surging sound and suddenly asked such a sentence. Thought off. Mengde nodded immediately, who didn't want to live, didn't want to be a fool. I will give you a chance. You will first record all the things you know about shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art. Wei Suo put a note in front of Mengde. Mengde hesitated for a moment, knowing that there was no room for bargaining, and finally gritted his teeth and began to record what he knew about shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art in this note. Shua. Mengde just nodded and put the note in front of Wei Suo's, indicating that it had been recorded. Wei Suo's True Yuan, who was a giant treasure, pressed him to death, and he suppressed his True Yuan without shapeshift great art. Immediately, Wei Suo waved with both hands, and dozens of blue-green flames entered the naked body of Mengde. Mengde's face was completely white. He felt that there was a chilly atmosphere in his many niches, but without the accurate perception of shapeshift great art, it was obvious that Wei Suo had some kind of stern restrictions. Reassured, this is the 10 ghosts, the shallow restrictions of Yin Corp's section, just 10 hours, it will automatically dissipate. Wei Suo's faceless lust directly condenses the scripture of this Dao technique, shapeshift great art, making Ming clear. As long as you listen to my command in these 10 hours, I will spare you a life. Ming's face is even whiter. This where is what superficial restrictions, see this article scripture, at least to golden core 5th layer above cultivator can be cast, although it is indeed 10 hours after will dissipate, but these 10 hours, as long as the ban of people a mind, you can stimulate this ban, and then in this way restrictions people will be whole body into a pool of cyan corpse water, even the residue is not left. This restrictions is clearly the top grade restrictions of Yin Corp's section. It is certain that the cultivator of Yin Corp's sect is still not learned at all. It's a pity that Yin Corp's sect is not as deep as your achievement and virtue section. There is no such restrictions that can last a long time. Otherwise, when you last hit you, it will not lead you to this day. I am off the court. Wei Suo seems to be a bit like lust at this time, and said such a sentence. I listened to your controls for 10 hours, can you really let me go? Ming asked in trembling. I have always been a credible person. Wei Suo looked at Ming without a look at lust, and began to look at the shapeshift great art recorded by Ming in the note. What do you want me to do? Ming asked. First return to Yin Yang grave to see the lust shape of ancient emperor corpse and help me charge ascent of Yin Yang grave. Wei Suo said nothing. What? Ming was scared directly. What are you afraid of? The ancient emperor corpse is sealed by a shapeshift great art great treasure. I don't necessarily know it. Even if it has already been played, you will not necessarily die in the past. It is better than you now. It is good. Wei Suo stunned the white and pointed out, every way, the achievement and virtue sect are really great treasure disciple, and there is no such thing as this. Bear you a ghost Divine mystic great treasure can be erased, divine mystic great treasure can scare the direct escape from no one, just you are not scared, but wow. Ming couldn't help but want to call it, but at the moment, facing Wei Suo, he didn't dare to call it out. After a while, he could only ask with a pale face. Let me do this, will you let me go? Help me do things, I will let you go, Wei Suo said with a glance at Ming. What else do you want to do? Ming immediately asked, he always felt that it would not be a good thing. You will know when you get there, so much nonsense. Wei Suo took a surging sound. You can make sure you can live from the vicinity of Yin Yang grave. Mindington was speechless. Damn swindler, you want to see the lust shape of the ancient emperor corpse? By the way, look at the lust shape of immortal ascension sect master and others with heavenly sea billowing divine mirror. Ling Longtian has some hints about Wei Suo's intentions at the moment, asking for surging sound. True Wei Suo sound transmission to Ling Longtian's ear, I and Xuanhuan's father, true martial sect master intercourse hand, his cultivation base will not be divine mystic realm second layer, by virtue of the two of us should be able to deal with, but if the immortal ascension sect master they have nothing to do, in case if we can get there, to divine mystic great treasure above, we may not be able to deal with it. And according to the magic of this mirror, you can also look at the lust shape of the achievement and virtue sect master. That's up to you. Ling Longtian sound transmission, not to mention anything. Let's go. Wei Suo didn't say much, first showed the void walking step shapeshift great art and turned back to the direction of Yin Yang grave. Hurry up and heal the wounds. Even if you encounter ancient emperor corpse, you will always have a great chance to escape while sweeping back. Wei Suo also took out some high-level healing medicine pill and supplemented True Yuan's spiritual herb and gave it to Ming. This Ming is really burning with the tears. If the person who doesn't know sees Wei Suo, he really thinks that Wei Suo is very close to him. The two are good friends. Great treasure approximately 16,000 miles from Yin Yang grave. Wei Suo stopped carefully. Okay, Be careful. Wei Suo nodded to Mingde, indicating that the next thing was Mingde, and also said such a sentence. Mingde was about to cry, but did not do shapeshift great art, while cursing the 18th generation of Wei Suo's ancestors in his heart, and his face turned toward Yin Yang grave. Hey, it's pretty fast. As he began to fly toward Yin Yang grave, the surging sound of Wei Suo's from the rear almost made him breathe out. Next, are you going to let him take us to your heavenly profound continent? You shouldn't really want to let him go. Ling Longtian looked at Wei Suo as he watched as Mingde's escape light disappeared in sight. To tell the truth, if ancient emperor corpse is really sealed out of the bones, he can really give me the bones and carry it back to the group of true martial section. I really might put it. Pass him. Wei Suo he smiled. You still want him to get the bones out? Ling Longtian suddenly bulged her eyes. There is such a desire for shapeshift great art, I don't know if I can do it. Wei Suo he smiled and stopped viewing the note in the opponent. It's a pity. It's a pity that this guy hasn't got the real inheritance of achievement and virtue section. His work is shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art. There are not too many useful secret places. Ling Longtian is really speechless to Wei Suo. I'm coming back. It seems that the ancient emperor corpse has not escaped. After a while, Wei Suo's eyes lit up and said this. Yin Yang grave's position, a little escape light emerged. It is Mingde's escape light. How? What is the lust shape of Yin Yang grave? You shouldn't have gone to Yin Yang grave and ran back. Just give me a breath and come back to the intercourse. Wei Suo said this after Waiting flew to the front. Matilda almost spit out the bleeding, and finally after a breath of two tones, just look very ugly will be true. Yuan wrapped in a group of breath point to Wei Suo body, said, I did go to the Yin Yang grave. Yin Yang grave deep secret place also occasionally played Pang great treasure powerful energy. There are huge great treasure collapse. Ancient emperor corpse seems to be in confrontation with something. Still playing with the gray bones, Wei Suo had some hair and reached out and took it out from Huangpujualun and Yufeng Reverend's heavenly sea billowing divine mirror. A pair of true Yuan entered, and the heavenly sea billowing divine mirror was inspired, and the atmosphere of the Mingde group was also involved in the heavenly sea billowing divine mirror. Heavenly sea billowing divine mirror was a great treasure, and soon a glimpse of Xuanhuan formed a myriad of stacked images. I am still escaping. These older guys are really older and more afraid of death. Let Wei Suo and Ling Longtian be speechless for the first time. The two saw that almost all of the Immortal Ascension sect and Achievement and Virtue sect's old antique characters in the picture were still desperately fleeing, walking through the wild. I am afraid that ancient emperor corpse will catch up. This is Immortal Ascension sect master. Immediately, a picture immediately made Wei Suo and Ling Longtian's eyes flickered for a moment. I saw a temple that was all carved out of a white jade, one of which was covered in white light. The cultivator is constantly taking medicine cheese healing from several medicines, and coughing out a couple of blood from time to time. The cultivator is obviously the Immortal Ascension sect master. Looking at the environment of his secret place, it should be back to the Immortal Ascension section. Although he was not directly beaten by the undead ancient emperor corpse, the injury looked at is also extremely heavy. This is the Achievement and Virtue sect master. In the other picture, there is no human form. There is only a circle of golden Buddha light shrouded in it. There are a series of meridians floating in it. It seems that a cultivator is reorganizing the body. This is the ancient emperor corpse, Mother Hammer, and the fierceness is too strong. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian couldn't help but look at each other. There is a picture of it, black light and red gold radiant, and I can't see anything at all, but it seems that powerful energy is shaking and shaking. Look at this, it should be that the ancient emperor corpse is still in the bones, and constantly resists the powerful energy of the skeleton. If you still haven't done it, then check out which chapters of the most popular novels have been updated. Chapter 857 is too fast. The green novel is the fastest text update. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziwei. Chapter 858. Chapter 858 is very excited. Dead hacker, I see that your plan has not been implemented by Shapeshift Great Art. Now it is like this under the yin-yang grave. If you die, he will definitely not go back to the skeleton. Ling Longtian looked at the black light and the red gold Xuanhuan constantly, like a sky-shaking scene, while the sound transmission to Wei Suo's ears. Wei Suo didn't answer first, but looked carefully at a sub-picture. The powerful energy of this heavenly sea-billowing divine mirror is very strange, but there is no shapeshift great art lasting, and soon this pair of sub-pictures has begun to blur. From the point of view of this sub-picture, Immortal Ascension Sect Master, although not killed by ancient Emperor corpse, seems to be extremely hurt, and the Achievement and Virtue Sect Master has begun to know what secret place shapeshift is being used. Great art, reorganized, but looks very slow. It seems that there is no 10 days and a half of the time, even the meridians of the whole body may not be able to complete. In other words, the two divine mystic great treasures will definitely have no threat to him in the near future. As for the other antique character of the Achievement and Virtue Sect and Immortal Ascension Sect, it is still in a state of collapse. Mingde, the next thing I want you to do is to go back and smash the bones of the ancient emperor corpse. After the scene of the heavenly sea billowing divine mirror appeared completely blurred, Wei Suo put away the mirror and did not move the surging sound. Watching, Mingde said. Ling Longtian said that his thoughts on shapeshift great art are definitely not good. Even if he is dead, he does not dare to go down to the deep secret place of yin-yang grave to go back to the bones. In the end, he can't do it. What? As soon as Wei Suo said it, Mindington was awkward and his head almost stood up. Why, are you not willing? That seems to only make you a corpse of water. Wei Suo deliberately sneered a surging sound. Even if I go down, I can't say it. Mingde suddenly got out of the way and called it up. There are grey light characters and even black divine lights from time to time. If I go down, there is no shapeshift great art, let alone the back. How about, I said, he will die when he is left and right. Ling Longtian does not move the sound of the sound transmission to Wei Suo's ear. Do not worry, there is another one to do shapeshift great art. Wei Suo didn't move the surging sound, and he sneered at Mingde. If that's the case, then I will give you another choice. What choice? Mingde stayed for a while, asked face white. Use transforming as one wishes secrets to look like me, then take us to see true martial sect master. Wei Suo said very normally. What? Mingde immediately responded to what Wei Suo wanted to do and almost jumped up. He knows that Wei Suo definitely wants the people of true martial sect master to think that he is Wei Suo, attracting the attention of true martial sect master, and then Wei Suo and Ling Longtian can take the opportunity to attack. Since true martial sect master and others set up an ambush, I am afraid that the first time the attack is extremely amazing, he may not have any chance of surviving. You only have this choice, or you can immediately become a pool of corpse water, or do it. Wei Suo is a faceless lust. Watching, Mingde said, I can even pass you the shapeshift great art, you may not have the chance to escape. You, Mingde almost sighed in front of a black faint death. Great treasure cried, you pass my virtual step shapeshift great art, let me use the virtual step shapeshift great art forward, not to let me play more by true 1 point, let them believe that I am you. In any case, this person is very good at talking. If you have a naked body, you will see what you choose. Wei Suo looked at Mingde. Either directly into a corpse, or bet on a gamble, maybe they can't kill you, if you can escape. It's not a white shapeshift great art. If I change me, I will definitely not be stupid to choose to become a beach corpse immediately, I will definitely choose to gamble. You are still very good at speaking, Mingde is full of the urge to vomit blood. Hurry up, my patience is limited, giving you 10 breaths of time. If you are late, you can make this choice, and they may have left, said Wei Suo. Nice. I promise you. But if I did what you did, if you don't let me go, you can't die. Ming finally couldn't stand it, cried hysterically. Reassured, I always talk and count, Wei Suo is very serious and virginity. Dead hacker, if he really hasn't been killed by true martial sect master, have you let him go? Ling Longtian sound transmission to Wei Suo's ear. Let him walk with the virtual step shapeshift great art? Not a chance. He lied to me once, and I also lied to him once, just to level it out. Wei Suo replied. You are a dead man, Ling Longtian suddenly rolled one's eyes. Let's go. This virtual step shapeshift great art is not strong shapeshift great art, you have to understand, and this virtual step shapeshift great art consumes true UN great. These are the Dan who add true UN Wei Suo first action virtual step shapeshift great art, with Ling Longtian and the Ming Dafar around Yin Yang grave, toward true martial sect the sect master Shifu place to go, while the virtual step shapeshift great the scripture of art and let Matilda ponder. Aids _crew first name Commonwealth 26 Aids crew first name Commonwealth 26. Ming kept screaming in his heart. He thought that this is not strong. Shapeshift great art wanted to die, but this time he got the lust of this strong shapeshift great art, but it made him have the urge to vomit blood from time to time. Almost half a day later, Wei Suo paused for at least 50,000 to 60,000 miles from the Huanglong waterfall that Ming said. You are here to start with the virtual step shapeshift great art, we will follow you. Remember the clever point, a hard point. After stopping, Wei Suo asked Ming to start using the virtual step shapeshift great art. Ming is really a sweet throat, so angry that it is a bloody mouth to the throat. If someone else hears Wei Suo's now, I really think that Wei Suo cares about his safety, and he is like an old friend for many years. Wait, no matter what I shout, you don't want to shout anything, or I will be scared. It's very likely that I don't care about the restrictions in your naked body. It's not good for the great treasure. Wei Suo is not very kind, and he has to wait for the sentence. Ming really couldn't help it. I really didn't want to listen to Wei Suo's words. I moved the shapeshift great art to the direction of the Huanglong waterfall. Not bad, even if I can't see the flaws. Wei Suo is very satisfied with Ming. At this moment, mind exhibits transforming as one wishes secrets, and its shape and atmosphere are almost exactly the same as before. Wei Suo is instead to use the shadow and great shadow of the achievement and virtue sect recorded by Ming. Because Matilda no Earth Mother ancient scripture, every few virtual steps shapeshift great art will pause, swallow Dan added true UN, so Wei Suo and Ling Longtian also not to lose. Ling Longtian is to cover the face, in addition to Bamang shapeshift talisman, but also used a few obscure shapeshift great art great treasure, and Wei Suo it is secrets with transforming as one wishes into a achievement and virtue sect old antique, which appears to be achievement and virtue sect2 great treasure cultivator chasing Wei Suo, and the way in front seems to be near the spent. Son, you can get rid of the sect master and 2 divine mystic great treasures, and you can hurt a divine mystic great treasure. It's already very extraordinary, but now you've been tough, even that immortal great treasure is not in your hand, you are still obediently stopped to surrender. As long as you obediently surrender and give up your secret place, my achievement and virtue sect can also take you into the middle. Great treasure the distance between the secret place and the wilderness of the Huanglong waterfall, there are 2 or 3,000 miles away. Wei Suo also no one may hear, the continuous great treasure shouting surging sound. Ming's eyes were black, and this is a standard thief calling for a thief. This virtual step of shapeshift great art is so amazing that true UN is so amazing. How did he keep moving the shapeshift great art? At the same time, Ming couldn't figure out how to do it. If there is regret in the world, even if he is beaten for 100 days, he is not willing to get an opponent like Wei Suo. Wei Suo is still shouting over the great treasure surging sound over and over again, as if he is tired of persuading him. There is a breath of gas, it should be that their group of people is here. Suddenly, the Ling Longtian sound transmission went to Wei Suo's ear. The wildland of Huanglong waterfall is said to be a piece of ancient desolate waters. There is an amazing waterfall. Wei Suo shouted at this great treasure. At this moment and Ling Longtian, there is at least 134,000 miles from that place. Distance. When I heard Ling Longtian's sound transmission, Wei Suo still did not move the surging sound, and continued the great treasure shouting, but my heart was secretly wary. OM. Suddenly, in the void above the top of Ming's head, a surging sound was so sullen, a pale yellow ellipse fruit suddenly burst out of the void. This elliptical fruit is only olive-like great treasure IA, but the breath is so heavy that at least 3 of the 40-year-old Wei Suo and Ling Longtian feel suffocated. Suantarode fruit, Ling Longtian swallowed his mouth. This is the shapeshift great art from divine mystic origin chi congeal when divine mystic great treasure is about to sit down. It's usually the former great treasure, leaving it to the bottom of the box a blow to immortal artifact. This kind of thing is used directly. Good guy, actually used this kind of thing directly. Yes, the response is very fast, even such a blow has escaped, it is worthy of the powerful contender for achievement and virtue section. Wei Suo a surging sound. When I saw that the mighty Suan Tadeokyo was pressed down, Ming appeared in the sunlight, and disappeared from the air. The Suan Tarode fruit disappeared in the secret place, and the whole world pulsed. The circle of powerful energy scattered and destroyed the flames, all forming a giant disk with a radius of at least 5 miles. Yuming appeared in a secret place 10 miles away, and at the same time came up with great treasure shouting, but he shouted 2 words, and the whole world suddenly jumped more vigorously. Many hills within a few hundred miles below the square it's all cracked. An amazing purple light was shot from the void, instantly forming an amethyst-like ancient character of 8 houses like great treasure IA. Pang great treasure's powerful energy is so strong that it can't be penetrated. Pu. 8 pounds of old characters that Lian Longtian didn't know were pressed against Ming's body. Ming's naked body was instantly split and turned into fly ash. Nothing left. What is this shapeshift great art? It's really amazing. How can I use this shapeshift great art to deal with me? Wei Suo's mouth has become O, and Ling Longtian is also jaw-dropping. The purple light seems to be a crystal stone of a finger great treasure IA, and this thing gives her the feeling, just like true immortals blow, it should be the existence of true immortal level, some kind of shapeshift great art left over. Out. Finally killed. Finally avenged the emperor's brother. In the middle of a secret place valley, several old people who are drooping are very motivated. Fortunately, we have Sky Sword sect with such a vine, even the mysterious road fruit given by Xianfeng can't beat him. He likes shapeshift great art. If we have this thing, or else I will run away. It is worthwhile to remove such a legacy from ancestors, except for such a great treasure enemy. A. Chapter 858 is very excited that the novel text update is the fastest. A. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 859. You first look for a chance to see if there is any problem with this thing, Wei Suo said quietly towards Ling Long Sky. This thing that Ming gave him was wrapped in fine gold very tightly. In his perception, he could only perceive that there was an ancient treasure hidden in it, but whether this thing was the same as what Ming said before, but it must be taken out, and can only be determined after careful inspection. After saying this to Ling Longtian, Wei Suo greeted the old man Xuanhuan and others while looking around. At the moment, there are already 72 mountain-like giant cyan gold platforms, and there are already disciples of Gongdizong in Bidu, Radiant, and the heavy weights of Gongdizong are basically in the part of this mountain near the top of the mountain. Mingning has also returned to a suspended lotus platform near the mountain top, and Ming and some elder-level figures have also been suspended in the air around the mountain top. there are about 13 or more powerful figures with 3 or more Jin Dan, which is less than when listening to the Buddha's voice in the Seven Treasures. Without the breath of divine profound power, the sect master of virtue did not personally visit this time. Wei Suo deliberately glanced at Mingning and Minged from afar, and Mingning, who brought him and Ling Longtian here, didn't pay attention to him at all, and apparently completely regarded him and Ling Longtian as such. The disciples were ants, and they didn't even care if they would say one yuan, but Mingning secretly glanced at him, signaling everything according to the agreement and letting him rest assured that there was no problem. Brother Mo. Brother Mo. At this time, many monks at Daingfeng suddenly exclaimed. With a glance at Wei Suo's eyes, he suddenly knew why the monks around Daingfeng suddenly burst into this exclaimed voice. On the giant adamantite platform directly in front of them, a monk wearing a blue cassock of Daingfeng was knocked out, and a blood hole of the size of a fist was punched in the right rib area, and the blood flow continued. The monk wearing the Daingfeng blue cassock looks less than 30 years old, and his face is relatively ordinary. Wei Suo recognized this person. He is the most outstanding young disciple of the Daingfeng generation, named Mo Yan, divided into a heavy cultivation. This disciple has high hopes from many senior figures in Daingfeng. He is expected to be seen by an elder in this competition, and he will become a true disciple of the same level as Zhou Ling, but he did not expect to be seriously hit at this moment. At the moment, he was hit the stage by an proud young monk wearing a yellow vest. Judging from the style of this vest, it was the Daqianfeng disciple who was closest to Daingfeng. At this moment, Mo Yan, who saw Daingfeng, was beaten out by him, but this Daqianfeng disciple was sneering with disdain, "Stand on the spot." De Bingfeng's disciple Zhou Bingkang wins and is listed as an inner disciple. An ugly-faced senior figure of Daingfeng will soon be hit hard, and the dying Mo Yan rolls down for treatment, while one on the stage sits on the edge of the bronze lotus platform. The elder Gongzong of the emperor reached out his hand and pointed a piece of U symbol representing the identity of the inner disciple to the proud young monk wearing a yellow vestment. According to the rules of merit and decency, ordinary disciples of Zufeng can have the status of disciples of the inner disciples as long as they defeat 2 opponents of Zhou Tianjing who have more than 5 levels of cultivation. Or directly challenge the inner disciple and defeat any inner disciple. You can also directly obtain the status of the inner disciple. Compared with ordinary disciples, inner disciples have a lot more spiritual stones available per month, and can enter places that ordinary disciples cannot enter. For example, some scriptures check the classics and have privileges that ordinary disciples do not have. Inner disciples can also challenge other inner disciples, and even true disciples. If they can stand out from the competition, they will surely be picked up by some elders and accepted as disciples. As long as he is a disciple of the elder level, he will become a true disciple of the virtue section. His status is far higher than that of ordinary disciples of Zufeng. He has many privileges, and his life and death are also valued by the section and the true disciple of the suzerain. This kind of comparison is a rare opportunity for ordinary monks in Zufeng, because almost all elders and above who do not have special mission arrangements for the sect will be present, and many elders have different tastes and different eyes. Every time Dabi enrolls a lot of true disciples, but for inner disciples and true disciples, it is also a severe test, which is equivalent to a rigorous trial, because the weak ones are likely to be ordinary disciples. The outstanding figures in the game have no face. At this moment, the disciple Daqianfeng is now successfully promoted to the inner gate. Obviously, he is challenging the other 5 peaks Zhou Tianjing's 5-fold path to become a disciple. Mo Yan of Daingfeng has already been defeated by him. 2 monks. This is the Sanking Cross virtual platform, and the teleportation distance reaches 10,000 miles. It is one of the teleportation magic weapons commonly used by ancient monks before our time. Just around Daingfeng's disciples' attention was completely taken by Mo Yan on the stage. When defeated to attract the past, Ling Longsky lowered his head, his eyes gleamed with golden light, looked at the package in his hand, and at the same time, he said to Wei Suo, this thing should not be damaged, as long as you focus on the true Yuan, you can excite. You can use it as long as you pay attention to the true Yuan. Is the teleport distance thousands of miles, and the teleport direction, if we can leave contact zone Wanli at once, it is completely safe for Wei Suo who has the whole virtual footwork, but this thing decided on his life, so he did not dare to take it lightly, and said, Steel Teeth Girl, this thing is related to our lives, you have to be sure of everything. The magic circle is complete, and there are no traces of changes. I'm sure it's foolproof. Ling Longtian knew that his life was at stake, and he didn't talk back to Wei Suo, and then carefully probed for a moment. When you are excited, you can indicate the direction of the transmission. We can escape from any direction. In this way, Ming didn't do anything, it was completely in accordance with our agreement. Since he was in accordance with the agreement, let us get Daigo Shenkuo. It seems that I must also follow the agreement to help him kill Mingning. If he is becoming a great disciple of meritorious sect is very good for us and will be of great benefit to us in the future. Wei Suo's silent voice was transmitted to the ears of Ling Longtian. Shu Yu is quiet and the wind stops, even if you don't want to find their trouble, the trouble has already come to the door. These people don't teach them, and the wickedness can't be eliminated. Ling Longtian sneered and passed into Wei Suo's ear. These people came really fast, and I don't know if they came here or there was Mingning's instructions behind them. Wei Suo turned to look to the left, his consciousness was already very clear, and 5 or 6 people were wearing De Yufeng. The monk in the vestment walked in the direction where he and Ling Longtian were. Among them were 3 old faces, the young disciple De Yufeng, the young girl with a sweet face, and the eyebrow Mao. Young man with birthmark. Daying Feng is really not as good as one generation. It seems that this time even one inner disciple can't get out. These 5 or 6 young disciples of Dao Feng walked proudly, among them the handsome young man. Said loudly. What are you talking about? You Dao Feng are amazing, Fei Zhonghe. Several disciples of Daying Feng who had a hard personality suddenly burst into blue on their foreheads and cried out loudly with blush. It's nothing extraordinary, just talking about some facts. The handsome young man played with a U symbol in his hand, said indifferently. A light blue light flashing on this piece of U symbol is exactly the U symbol that marks the identity of the inner disciple. This person has apparently already defeated 2 opponents of Zhou Tianjing who have more than 5 levels of cultivation, and already owns the inner disciple's identity. Brother Gu, you have already been promoted to the disciple of the inner disciples? There is so much to talk about with the disciples of Daying Feng, they are beyond measure. A sneering voice came, but it was the disciple who had just obtained the inner disciples. The qualified Zhou Bingkang passed by a group of disciples with a large lack of peaks. Many of Daying Feng's disciples were so angry that they had seen the magical skills of these 2 men, and they knew that they were not opponents of the 2. You bully Daying Feng nobody, you will definitely pay for what you say today. Many of the senior figures of Daying Feng are angry and helpless, because according to the rules and regulations, senior figures over the age of 70 have lost their qualifications to challenge the rest of the monks, and they cannot do anything in this comparison. I don't want to talk nonsense with these people, but someone said that they would challenge me in the Dabi before, so come over and see if this person has the courage to see if he is ready to be a tortoise. The suave young man smiled, but his eyes gathered on Wei Suo, his expression was self-evident. I will make you do what you want. Wei Suo looked at the proud young man indifferently and said. Pony can't be impulsive. Hearing Wei Suo said, Old man Zhang Yun and old man surnamed Qian suddenly screamed, and in their view, Wei Suo could not be the opponent of this person. Relax, Daying Feng is destined to be a blockbuster today. Wei Suo was very calm, glancing at the group of Dao Feng and Daqian Feng disciples, and watching Fei Zhongren say, My fellow brothers, I will help you out today. Pony. Old man Zhang Yun and old man surnamed Qian couldn't help but stun. No one thought that Wei Suo would actually say such a thing. Is this man crazy? Zhou Bingkang, who had just qualified as a disciple of the inner disciples, also said in amazement, and couldn't help looking at the young man who was so happy. And there are people at Dafeng Peak, don't you like to come to Dafeng for business? Wei Suo nodded towards Linglong Sky, and toward the right side was a hillside with many dense blue monks. Said out loudly, let's come out together when I was in Dafeng. For Wei Suo, since he is ready to take the lesson, then simply make a big one. Ling Longtian didn't speak much, but took Wei Suo's Nabeo bracelet out of her sleeve and silently stuffed it into Wei Suo's sleeve. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 860. Chapter 860 Forcing a Jump. It's not that our achievement and virtue sect are too deceiving. It's that you are bad for us. You have lost a lot of supreme secret techniques. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian swept towards Su Shenjun, and at the same time made great treasure by shapeshift great art. Let's go. Achievement and Virtue Sect and Immortal Ascension Sect have at least 2 divine mystic. Nothing is opponent. This person directly injured Su Shenjun, divine ability is too amazing, not to escape all the way down. What is this secret place technique, even divine consciousness can block? Hearing Wei Suo's called surging sound, seeing that the previous phase Su Shenjun was damaged, plus Wei Suo moving the heavenly emperor sense destroying eye, except for a few true martial sex old antique characters, all others they are all scared, like a headless fly, fleeing. OM. There was a burst of vibration in the void, and Su Shenjun's body instantly filled countless origin chi, forming a divine mystic shapeshift great art with a height of 5 feet. I saw Su Shenjun's divine mystic shapeshift great art, which is like a myriad of transparent diamonds. It looks like a superstar with a star crown. It looks very similar to Su Shenjun itself. One thing, the right hand is holding a page of pages, the same as a diamond, but Xuanhuan is more like Su Shenjun's divine mystic shapeshift great art. Ling Longtian's perception was under Wei Suo's heavenly emperor sense destroying eye, but it was not affected at all. When she saw this page in Su Shenjun's hand, her eyes jumped sharply. Shua. At this time, Su Shenjun's divine mystic shapeshift great art played a star map, many of which are bright, like a star, one-to-one correspondence with the stars in the sky, seems to condense a starry sky. Once the star map was formed, it immediately entangled itself with divine mystic shapeshift great art. At this point the great treasure's powerful energy by shapeshift great art is added to his divine mystic shapeshift great art. At the time when the void walking step shapeshift great art was swept toward the secret place, Wei Suo had once again used the immortal king god crystal, and at the moment he made the great treasure by the powerful energy of the shapeshift great art, as if to deal with that like the ancient emperor corpse, nature has a form of invisible auspicious great treasure light, heavenly dragon, white elephant, great treasure flower and so on. Su Shenjun divine mystic shapeshift great art there is no damage to the star pattern that wraps around, but the entire divine mystic shapeshift great art is still violently shaking. There are a lot of diamond-like particles that are scattered and immediately scattered into a piece of origin chi filled with divine mystic. What? At this time, Wei Suo immediately asked Ling Longtian, because Su Shenjun's divine mystic shapeshift great art was mixed, Ling Longtian's reaction was somewhat shocked. Nothing, the page in his divine mystic shapeshift great art is somewhat like the ancient immortal artifact star territory, but now even your great treasure can only block the half by the shapeshift great art. At most it is just a copy. Ling Longtian licked her mouth, a surging sound, and an origin chi rushed out, but she directly smashed the treasure receiving pocket, the old man with a bun-like sarcoma on her head, obviously wanting to see the girl right away. What is the smell of something extraordinary? SS. A ray of light came from Su Shenjun's divine mystic shapeshift great art and hit Wei Suo and Ling Longtian. After the divine mystic shapeshift great art, Su Shenjun also seems to have a secret place to lock Wei Suo's inner chi without being hindered by the heavenly emperor sense destroying eye. Your achievement and virtue sect don't put my true martial sect in the eye. I Su Shenjun vowed today, must destroy the achievement and virtue sect. At the same time, Su Shenjun has a shocking surging sound. This is a 1-foot-long Dao lotus, which is also like a myriad of enamel diamonds, with amazing roads. This guy is crazy. Wei Suo plays MT Sumi Great Lifting, a white Sumi Divine Mountain, heads towards Dao Lotus. Su Shenjun's cultivation base is farther than Wei Suo, but the loss is eaten without the Shapeshift Great Art or Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure that can block the Wei Suo Great Treasure by Shapeshift Great Art. Now it is obvious that there is no Shapeshift Great Art to resist. Let go of the Shapeshift Great Art and try to suppress Wei Suo. And he was previously influenced by the Great Treasure by Shapeshift Great Art, otherwise he used his Shapeshift Great Art, Wei Suo, to show MT Sumi Great Lifting may not be too late. Achievement and Virtue Sex Shapeshift Great Art is so amazing. This is the strong Shapeshift Great Art of Heaven level top rank. Su Shenjun was shocked. The other party apparently did not break through Divine Mystic, but the White Sumi Divine Mountain hit almost all the powerful energy of the Dao Lotus he played. White Sumi Divine Mountain and Dao Lotus, 1 foot long, collided in the air like two comets. The explosion surging sound heaven shaking, a hill below was completely shattered. I'll help you block his Shadow Shift Great Art powerful energy, you just use the Great Treasure to deal with him by the Shapeshift Great Art. This thing is a burning fire, it can continue to burn blood. Origin Chi, Divine Mystic 4th layer is difficult to refining below, there is a burning decade, the Divine Mystic cultivator in this thing, it is estimated it can only be as painful as the original Blood Corpse Sex Blood Spirit Old Ancestor. It is not possible to use all kinds of Shapeshift Great Art. This thing, also known as the 10-year retreat fire, means that in this matter, basically only 10 years of retreat, and then the fire disappeared and then came out. This thing itself has a powerful energy above half immortal level, to deal with him, or to keep it first, you decide. Ling Longtian's great treasure was pushed towards Su Shenjun, and a one-finger, deathly pale crystal stone was hit in front of Wei Suo's. A decade of closed fire, even Divine Mystic Great Treasure can be difficult to refining, burning for 10 years, such a vicious Shapeshift Great Art. Wei Suo suddenly took a sigh of relief, he knew that this thing was the thing on the old man in the yellow robe with a long bag on his head, and this thing was definitely ready to deal with him before. If it is hit by such a thing, it is estimated that even if it is washed with water spirit Yuan Qi, it can't be washed away, it is very miserable. However, Wei Suo did not stop at all, and when he reached out, he grabbed the Shapeshift Great Art in his hand. Shua. At this time, Su Shenjun, who let go of the attack, once again produced a splendid light, which looks like a tail. It is like a condensed diamond condense, which is more than 20 feet long. It is a spur of Wei Suo. Explosive, far beyond the limits of the Golden Core Cultivator's divine consciousness. Pu. However, Ling Longtian is like a shield. The hard-skinned transverse place is placed in the secret place of more than 20 feet in front of Wei Suo's. The gray brilliance of the body is not eye-catching, but the brilliance of Su Shenjun is blocked by the hard life. Constantly disappearing. True martial sect is just that. Wei Suo once again moved the great treasure by Shapeshift Great Art, and an invisible powerful energy once again hit Su Shenjun's divine mystic Shapeshift Great Art, which made a lot of diamond-like debris and turned into a violent origin chi. You are not the person of achievement and virtue sect, you are Wei Suo. Su Shenjun's divine mystic Shapeshift Great Art was once again stunned and saw that his own Shapeshift Great Art powerful energy was blocked by Ling Longtian. He finally realized Great Treasure, and Great Treasure called Surging Sound. Who said, Wei Suo is not already bombarded by you, tut, the powerful energy of the two things is terrifying. Wei Suo does not stop Great Treasure by Shapeshift Great Art. Su Shenjun could hardly speak, and a brilliance he played was once again blocked by Ling Longtian. Wei Suo didn't make a mistake. At this time, Ling Longtian was really a lot better than when he came out from Demon Mark Ominous Vein. When he was alone in the sword of Huangpujualun, he couldn't resist it. At the moment, it is already able to use one person's power to harden Su Shenjun's shapeshift great art powerful energy. Although both were beaten and flew backwards, it did not seem to have any damage, and immediately stopped in the air. "Kid, I won't kill you, I won't be a man." Su Shenjun didn't stop. Divine mystic shapeshift great art swayed in the air and swayed the mysterious origin chi, emitting a piece of starlight, and the figure disappeared into countless stars. In the position I am pointing, I have a secret place of 3,000 feet. Ling Longtian sticks his finger toward a secret place in front. "Udeo technique shapeshift great art is not good, you just vowed to destroy the achievement and virtue sect, and now vow to destroy me. You have to destroy the achievement and virtue sect first, and destroy me. It seems too difficult. You may not see true martial section." Su Shenjun's Deo technique shapeshift great art also did not block Wei Suo's divine consciousness. Wei Suo exhibited the secret place shapeshift great art from true immortal divine mark. The golden god stood in the eyebrows and the divine consciousness splashed. Also vaguely felt Su Shenjun's escape position, and immediately pursued the past. "Junior, you are deceiving too much. I will let you know what the cost of doing this is." Su Shenjun had a roar of the sky. Divine mystic shapeshift great art suddenly seemed to be a short half, and numerous diamond-like debris flew out, and a thrilling breath swayed. "Oh la la! The emptiness of dozens of miles is like a rag, and it is constantly shaking." This countless diamond-like brilliance instantly formed a giant gate of the giant treasure at the side of Su Shenjun. A mysterious origin chi kept oscillating. Su Shenjun divine mystic shapeshift great art. The page in the book also has a flood of splendid light, which is connected with the starlight gate that is 10 feet long. The dog jumps on the wall and is desperate. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian were shocked. Ling Longtian immediately returned to Wei Suo's. Wei Suo reached out and sacrificed the indestructible clean bottle directly. At the same time, no beginning sword scripture was displayed, and numerous transparent flying swords instantly in indestructible clean. Outside the bottle is a transparent grindstone with a giant great treasure, and the entire air is filled with Boom Long's giant great treasure surging sound. Su Shenjun at the moment, the desperate god lust and the star-studded atmosphere make Wei Suo and Ling Longtian feel very dangerous and ready to resist. But what shocked both of them was that Su Shenjun stepped in toward the starlight gate. At the same time, the starlight door opened, and the flood of splendid light instantly enveloped Wei Suo and Ling Longtian. "This is not good, this is not a direct attack on the class shapeshift great art. This is the same as the Immortal Ascension platform of Immortal Ascension sect, the powerful energy of the transfer class. This is similar to the True Martial door. Does this guy want to bring us directly to True Martial sect and use the restrictions of True Martial sect to deal with us?" Surrounded by an eccentric atmosphere, there were countless streams of light flying through it, like a shuttle in the sky. This scene made Wei Suo and Ling Longtian suddenly change their face and reacted. If you still haven't done it, then check out which chapters of the most popular novels have been updated. Chapter 860 Force the Jump Frame novel to update the fastest. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 861. Chapter 861 Returning to the Old Place. Chapter 861 Returning to the Old Place. Update time 2011-11-1021, 00 words 314. VIP Chapter Content, Subscription. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian are exactly like being in an ancient transfer shapeshift great art array. Su Shenjun's Deo technique shapeshift great art opens a space channel, most likely like the Immortal Ascension sect master and Sushengxiu. Wang Wei great treasure in the same time as the war, bring the two into the mountain gate. I am going to break this transmission channel. Ling Longtian has a gray spirit light outside, and there are countless streams of light flowing around. At the time of this operation, Wei Suo was surprised but not flustered because Ling Longtian had previously shown this divine ability. I want to break my real Wuxing gate, it's not so easy. Su Shenjun's divine mystic shapeshift great art suddenly appeared at the end, a slap of Dao Lotus called, and the grey spirit light on Ling Longtian was defeated by the great treasure half. Damn swindler, hurry! Ling Longtian's face was very ugly, and the transmission channel was instantaneous, with Su Shenjun blocking. She didn't have shapeshift great art to break this transmission channel. If she was brought into the true martial sect, she and Wei Suo were fierce. Go to death, Wei Suo directly moves the great treasure by shapeshift great art. Su Shenjun's divine mystic shapeshift great art once again produced a lot of crumbly brilliance, shaking the burning with the desire, apparently moving this and the previous great treasure of Wei Suo by the shapeshift great art sound, also brought him there was no small damage, but his shapeshift great art didn't stop, and he still played a Dao Lotus toward Ling Longtian. When light has this technique, I think it is invincible. In the middle of my true martial sect, I will let you know what is better than death at the same time, Su Shenjun was sneer. In his opinion, as long as he kept applying shapeshift great art, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian had no shapeshift great art to break the transmission channel of the real Wuxing gate. Chi. But at this time, the brilliance of a deathful pail was provoked from the hands of Wei Suo's. The brilliance of the deathful pail was like a white scorpion, but the front end was the shape of countless old ghosts, and the numerous screaming surging sound, the golden crack stone, hit Su Shenjun divine mystic shapeshift great art. Ah! Su Shenjun suddenly made a surging sound scream, and divine mystic shapeshift great art flew backwards. Why, I thought it would stop if I don't stop shapeshift great art, I will let you keep applying shapeshift great art. Wei Suo didn't leave lust, ready to move the great treasure again by shapeshift great art, and attack Su Shenjun who flew backwards. He was directly inspired by the shapeshift great art, which had a 15-year closed fire, and hit Su Shenjun. But at this time, Ling Longtian had moved all the time, and a layer of grey spirit light wrapped the two in it. Hong, numerous mysterious streamers suddenly collapsed, and in all directions there are infinitely great treasures of force to squeeze over. Ling Longtian is just a surging sound, and the numerous streamers disappeared, and the inexhaustible great treasure power disappeared without a trace. A divine mystic second layer guy also has the secret place technique. Your current cultivation world, powerful strong treasure shift strong shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art great treasure are not many. The escape is actually a great treasure. It is Ling Longtian's face was ugly, biting his teeth, and some of his mouth was bleeding, causing some damage. Wei Suo is a bit embarrassed. He and Ling Longtian are playing from the transmission channel, which happens to be just outside the city and looks like a place in the rogue cultivator free intercourse market. Not far from the secret place, the city is built like the Spirit Peak City, and the scale seems to be only about the size of the Spirit Peak City. At the moment, in the open space outside the city, there are many free intercourse markets in the market. The great treasure has gathered more than 100 cultivators, all of whom are watching him and Ling Longtian with a stunned look. Many of the closer distances between Wei Suo and Ling Longtian have been scared, and I don't know how Wei Suo and Ling Longtian suddenly emerged from the void. What could this place be? Wei Suo glanced at Ling Longtian and determined that Ling Longtian was not seriously injured. He immediately looked at a middle-aged man with a black face and some scared stupid middle-aged man. This is the Golden City. The sharp-faced man was awkward, and some answered with a smile. The breath of Wei Suo is known to all present, and certainly not a cultivator with them. Golden City? Say in detail, that great treasure land? Wei Suo eyes flash, this secret place has no impression in his mind. When we heard Wei Suo ask which great treasure land, all the cultivators present were even more shocked. The sharp-faced middle-aged cultivator did not dare to neglect and immediately replied, our Golden Jubilee is located in the west of Heavenly Profound Continent, the nearest 4 cities around it is Gujinqinj, Huafanken, Hongmenchinj and 3 great treasure cities. Wei Suo couldn't help but roll one's eyes. Heavenly profound continent. He and Ling Longtian had a hard time crossing the heavenly profound continent northern part and arrived at Cloud Spirit continent, but now they have been returned to heavenly profound continent by Su Shenjun Dao technique shapeshift great art. He didn't even hear about this Jinchinj city, but he knew it very well in the 3 great treasure cities. 3 great treasures were produced before the Ukrainian iron, which can be used to refine the shapeshift great art great treasure, and 2 kinds of spirit grass that can be used with the monster core refining spirit pellet. The 3 things are collectively called 3 great treasures. This city is located in the secret place between the west of heavenly profound continent and the central region. Wei Suo also asked the direction, did not enter the city, directly to Ling Longtian gave a wink, did not enter the city, directly with the spirit light shapeshift great art flew away, very speechless look. Go back to your hometown, what are you going to do now? Ling Longtian sound transmission asked Wei Suo. In addition to the serious martial sect master Su Shenjun, it did not account for the special great treasure. If you can kill Su Shenjun, you can also chase down the old antique characters of true martial sect and sky sword sect, maybe even a small stroke. Mother Hummer actually was called back to heavenly profound continent. Wei Suo was obviously very depressed. He screamed like this first, and then he said, all the time, it has already come back. Simply help green-robed old man to find what he needs, and to take a trip to fearless heavenly palace. Do you want to see the strange bluestone that Yufeng Reverend said? Ling Longtian's eyes narrowed and she immediately knew the meaning of Wei Suo's. Yufeng Reverend said that the bluestone is difficult to invade, and the inner stone is like the divine mark. It is also like the strange rune classics. This bluestone is definitely mysterious and extraordinary. At present, Huangpujualun has fallen, Su Shenjun must have no shapeshift great art for a while, and Wei Suo is a great treasure enemy of heavenly profound continent, and only Yexiancheng is threatening them, and divine is under the eyes of Wei Suo and Ling Longtian. Ability, just Yexiancheng, I am afraid it is not their own opponent at all. Coupled with the fact that the artificial and virtue sect master has not been reorganized, the immortal ascension sect master is also hit hard, and it is indeed the best time for Wei Suo to walk on the heavenly profound continent. It was actually taken back by Su Shenjun to heavenly profound continent, on the 10th, the fire was closed, and this kind of thing actually passed down. It really should help me to shape, otherwise ghost raising jar is too unscrupulous, and I will be broken when I accidentally, making me not do shapeshift great art. Green-robed old man was also very excited after Wei Suo was summoned from the ghost raising jar that was taken out and the situation was roughly explained. Achievement and virtue sect master is estimated to be afraid of our strength before reinventing the body, but after reinventing the body, it is definitely a trouble for us. So the quickest thing here is the sooner the better, we have to go back to Jia as soon as possible. The old man, the last time I have helped you find a piece of 5-colored stone, what else is there to help you shape the main material, where is the most likely to find? After a cursory explanation of the current situation, Wei Suo immediately asked green-robed old man. Now, if you get back to heavenly profound continent anyway, fearless heavenly palace is definitely going to go once. The next step is to plan the route to the heavenly profound continent according to the green-robed old man. The main material of the condensate is moon grass, golden crow fruit and silver star stone. Green-robed old man immediately set up. Moon fairy grass is refining cold month Dan's main material, although rare, but not as rare as amethyst fox rose, and silver star stone although not much, but usually nothing great treasure use. Most of them are used to refine some shapeshift great art characters, both of which were previously produced near the King City, and are likely to be preserved. As for golden crow fruit, it is one of the materials for refining Udeo pill. I have previously reviewed the classics, and pill recipe of Udeo pill has been lost. This thing may be rare. Wangguangchinj, then let's go to Panwangchinj, Set shapeshift great art to find these things, and then go to the gate of fearless heavenly palace. Wei Suo gave a slight indulgence and decided. The gates of Penwangchange and fearless heavenly palace are not on the way, but Penwangchange is located east of the heavenly profound continent, just 20 miles from the city where they are now, much closer than the fearless heavenly palace. After the negotiations were finalized, Wei Suo looked at the position and first rushed toward Gujin, the nearest city to Jinchange city. In order not to easily expose the line, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian did not transfer directly through the transfer of shapeshift great art, and at the moment, Wei Suo did not use transforming as one wishes secrets, but with hidden and several hidden scent. Shapeshift great art great treasure sneak peek, slightly changing appearance. In this way, Wei Suo feels that it is enough to give true martial sect and mystic wind sect face. If you want to find him and ask him for trouble, then he will also find trouble with him. Only unkind. The northern part heaven's dome has split two more. When I entered Gujinchange, I started to transfer the shapeshift great art array and traveled towards the destination Penwangchange. I listened to the intercourse talks along the way. Cultivator, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, green-robed old man also knew, heavenly profound the heavens dome of continent northern part split 2 times during Wei Suo's departure from heavenly profound continent. And heavenly profound continent northern part so far there is no sect to occupy, and all the heavenly profound continent sects only regard the heavenly profound continent northern part as a hunting ground for the wilderness and hunting monster core. In order to transfer shapeshift great art, it was only a half day. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian passed through more than 10 cities, but Wei Suo suddenly stopped at Gilu city, which is only a halfway away from Penwangchange. Down, walked towards the corner of the street. What happened? Ling Longtian and green-robed old man are very strange, can't help but ask for surging sound at the same time. They are talking about people who may be related to people I know before. Wei Suo replied that great treasure is on the move. He is facing the corner of the secret place street. There are 3 or 4 cultivation bases, only the Divine Sea Realm 3/4 layer low-grade rogue cultivator is chatting. If you still haven't done it, then check out which chapters of the most popular novels have been updated. Chapter 861 returns to the hometown novels. Text update is the fastest. A. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 862. Chapter 862 is for the sake of the elderly. Related to the people he knew before, Ling Longtian and green-robed old man are a little surprised. People who can make Wei Suo deliberately inquire about it must not only have seen a two-way passerby. Fellow deist, I just heard that you are talking about a cultivator called Duguyuyun. I don't know if I have heard it wrong. Wei Suo walked up to the few low-grade rogue cultivators and asked politely. Several low-grade rogue cultivators were slightly glimpsed, and we looked at Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, who came up to see Wei Suo's obvious temperament. These rogue cultivators didn't dare to neglect. One of them, 40, the yellow-faced man of the multi-year-old, also replied politely, fellow deist did not misunderstand, we are talking about this cultivator named Duguyuyun. I don't know what is fellow deist. /p. Nothing, I just think the name of this cultivator is very familiar, it seems to have been heard, so curious to find out. Wei Suo said very politely, I just seem to hear a reward, I don't know if there is anything about this person. Oh. Fellow deist heard the name of someone else in other places, but forgot it for a while. He yellow-faced man explained, this person was originally the 5th son of the Dugu family, later said in order to fight for Gong shapeshift great art, killed his father and the family of 2 great uncles, surging sound disappeared for many years, but recently said the whereabouts of exposure, was beaten into a serious injury, should not be far away, it is possible to hide in our Lukang, by Cicada City and Immortal Armor Town between the 3 cities, so Dugu family announced a reward, as long as there is this cultivator exact whereabouts, to inform Dugu family members, will receive a reward of 50,000 low-grade spiritual stones. /p. 50,000 downs of spiritual stones, so much, Eisuo eyes flash, said. Yes, it should be available. The Dugu family will directly reward the intercourse to the cultivator who can provide this person's news at the city market. The yellow-faced man also thought Weisuo felt that the number of the 50,000 spearing spiritual stones was scary. He smiled and said, "We are just saying that if we can meet this person and receive the 50,000 spiritual stones, then this luck. It really great, /p. The Dugu family is a path of cultivation family near Nangwon City. So, are they still able to trace this person?" Weisuo looked at the yellow-faced man and continued to ask, "I don't know if that Dugu Yuyun has any companions. Is fellow Daoist really interested in this reward?" He yellow-faced man and others said with a slap in the face, "The trace of this person is really not being seen now. This person has not heard of any companions, it is said that he is alone. /p. Oh. I do have some interest in the rewards. After all, 50,000 spiritual stones are not a small number. I don't know if there is news of this person, but where do you want to find someone from the Dugu family to receive this reward?" Eisuo asked. "The people of Dugu family are rewarded by Changchun Fangbu in our return to Lekang. If there is any exact news, they can receive the reward in Changchun." The yellow-faced man and others were suspicious, looking at Weisuo and Ling Longtian. "This fellow Daoist, you shouldn't have the news of this person. How could it be so clever, just these 50,000 spiritual stones? People are curious, can't help but ask more, so bother you, fellow Daoist." After saying these words, Weisuo stopped saying more and left. "Kid, damn swindler, what does this Dugu Yuyun have to do with you?" Watching Weisuo walk along the city's great treasure road to the Deer City, Ling Longtian and green-robed old man, who listened to the great treasure for a while, couldn't help but ask. "If I remember correctly, Dugu Yuyun is the cultivator in the Jia store that year." Hanwaiwei and I talked about the cultivator. It is said that he was actually framed by several brothers in the family before he came to the scene. Spirit Peak City, originally said to be Jia to understand his nature, and later his true identity, he also took him in the store. The power of the Dugu family is said to be no small, and the strength at that time may be no less than the sect like Heaven's first sect. Eisuo sound transmission to Ling Longtian and green-robed old man. "At that time, Yejiaxiang and his sister were Hanwaiwei and Jia, please take care of him." "Who is Yejiaxiang?" Ling Longtian continued to ask. "So it I Ling Longtian doesn't know Yes Yao Zheng and Yeguwei, but green-robed old man is very clear. Ye brother and sister are the intercourse of Weisuo's life and death. I heard that Weisuo is dangerous, but I don't care about my own life. Going to help Weisuo's, the extraordinary intercourse lust, is like a brother and sister." Later, Weisuo built the Golden Core in Sea Immortal Sect, killed Yeling, and returned to Heavenly Profound Continent. He has been setting up shapeshift great art to find Yejiaxiang, but there has been no audio of these two people. Suo is also very helpless. I can't think of this news but suddenly heard the news of Dugu Yuyun, who may know the whereabouts of Ye family. T seems that you have to go to Changchun Square to see the people of Dugu family again." Listening to green-robed old man after simply talking about the relationship between Ye family and Weisuo's, Ling Longtian quickly reacted to what Weisuo is doing now. Weisuo nodded, not much to say, and found a cultivator on the side of the road. After asking about the orientation of Changchun Square, he went straight to Changchun. Not to mention Ye family and sister, this Dugu Yuyun is also a self for Weisuo, just Dugu Yuyun. If someone wants to deal with him, Weisuo also has to take care of it. Changchun Square is one of the most great treasures in Lekang. It is located in the west market of Gishan City. The main naked body is a 3-story cyan glass temple, which is very conspicuous. After Weisuo entered the city west market, he saw the square city at a glance and walked straight to the door of the city. "I don't know if this predecessor came to Changchun Square. What do you want to buy?" A Changchun Fang clerk in an emerald green shirt saw Wei Suo and Ling Longtian walk to the door, and the horse went up and asked with a smile. Quite a home away from home. There is news of Dugu Yuyun in the bottom. I heard that the people of Dugu family are in this secret place. Wei Suo said that there was no nonsense, and divine consciousness spilled over and swept through the whole city. Among the entire Changchun Square, there are 5 or 6 secret places. Divine consciousness has no shape-shift great art. It should be arranged with restrictions, but not all other places, even a golden core cultivator. Predecessors have news of Dugu Yuyun? Please come with my seniors. Hearing Wei Suo, the clerk of Changchun Square suddenly looked a little surprised, but he immediately turned around and took the road ahead. The clerk of Changchun Square took Wei Suo and Ling Longtian directly through the 3-story main naked body attic to the back courtyard. As soon as I walked into the courtyard, the outside market had some noisy surging sounds that disappeared without a trace. It is clear that there are soundproof restrictions in the entire courtyard. The clerk had no stop and had brought Wei Suo and Ling Longtian to the front of one of the most great treasure houses on the right. After tapping 2 words on the door, the clerk walked in and went straight into the door. The room is also equipped with restrictions that block divine consciousness. Wei Suo does not have shape-shift great art to directly determine what kind of cultivator it is. After entering the room behind the clerk, I saw that the house was arranged in a living room style. A man and a woman were injured in 2 main seats facing the door. The man is over 30 years old, wearing a pure black shape-shift great art gown. His face is thin and his face is not revealing. On the look of the 9 is the calm figure who is not easy to shape. The other one is a 60-year-old dad, wearing a purple-red brocade, embroidered with a lot of great treasure flowers. The head is somewhat white, but the face is red, but the look is a bit gloomy, giving people have a bad feeling of speaking. After bringing Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, the Changchun Fang clerk did not say anything, just quit the room and bring the door. I don't know how the fellow deist called it. Since I entered this secret place, there should be news of Dugu Yuyun. The face-skinned male cultivator made a gesture of sitting to Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, and said that she was surging sound. In the next surname Wei Suo replied indifferently. The male cultivator and the old lady are the cultivation base of the thought division 3rd layer and the thought division 5th layer middle stage respectively. Such a cultivation base is also amazing in the ordinary city, but for him, there is no threat at all. I don't know what the 2 people call. Is it the Dugu family? After talking directly about his true surname, Wei Suo did not answer, did not sit down, but asked the sentence. Under Dugu Yufan, this is one of my elders. We are naturally the people of the Dugu family. The male cultivator and the old man with thin face are slightly wrinkled, but the male cultivator did not say anything nonsense, and replied directly. What do you want to do? The face-sleek male cultivator suddenly became a surging sound, because at this time, Wei Suo heard his words, but suddenly reached a hand. A candle-like brilliance emerged from his hands. Nothing, since you are a Dugu family, then I can ask something. Wei Suo took a look at the male cultivator and the old man, said indifferently. What do you mean? The male cultivator and the old man stood up at the same time, and their faces were completely gloomy. Wei Suo's move at this time is obviously not to tell Dugu Yuyun where to go, but the 2 are still unable to believe that Wei Suo dared to make trouble at this secret place. Before I said that my surname Wei, now I can tell the 2, true martial sect young master is also in my hands. Mystic Wind sect is really dead in my hands. Wei Suo actually sat down and looked at the 2 indifferently, while the divine consciousness pressure pressed against the 2. The male cultivator and the old man were suffocating, and the divine soul was crushed to crush the general terrifying feeling. Just a breath of time, Wei Suo received the divine consciousness pressure. Ling Longtian grinned at Wei Suo's behavior and sat down. The name of the male cultivator and the old man was pale, and his body was already covered with cold sweat. If you still haven't done it, then check out which chapters of the most popular novels have been updated. U. Euro Chapter 862 is the fastest update of the novels of the Old Man, A. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 863. Chapter 863 Low-key Behavior. Well, you should be able to answer my question now. Wei Suo looked at the male cultivator and the old man, and an invisible pressure made the male cultivator and the old man sit down without the resistance of shape-shift great art. I heard that Dugu Yun was framed by you and escaped from the Dugu family. I saw his father and two uncles, but died in your hands. Immediately, Wei Suo looked at the two and asked. Predecessors should not listen to rumors. Previously our family was indeed dead in his hands, the old man wearing a fuchsia brocade said immediately. The candle-like brilliance that Wei Suo appeared on his hand immediately shook and changed color. In the face of me, I dare to tell lies. Wei Suo suddenly had a surging sound without a table lust. Pa! The old man wearing a fuchsia brocade was suddenly shocked by a naked body, and even the person fell back with the chair. I am giving you a warning. I want to destroy you, it's easier than pinching a cockroach ant. Don't try to tell lies in front of me. Wei Suo glanced at the old man who was sitting on the ground, with a trace of blood on his lips, and was afraid to shake his body. He said quietly. Say it. Seeing the old man and the face-fascinating male cultivator named Dugu Yufan did not speak for a while, Wei Suo once again pressed with divine consciousness pressure. The father and the two uncles are dead in my great treasure brother and 7 uncles, Dugu Yufan said in a cold, sweaty face. Wei Suo's current divine consciousness is comparable to divine mystic. In the face of Wei Suo's divine consciousness pressure, Dugu Yufan only feels like an ant facing the invisible giant mountain, and the mind must be crushed at any time. Father Wei Suo's brow wrinkled and looked at Dugu Yufan. So, you and Dugu Yun are brothers. What is your identity in the Dugu family? I am 4th, Dugu Yun is my brother, Dugu Yufan replied with a cold sweat, and did not dare to look at Wei Suo. Wei Suo's fierce name in heavenly profound continent is too strong, first to kill true martial sect young master and mystic wind sect, and the old antique level characters. Even Huang Pujualun was hit by him at Cloud Spirit Continent. The news of killing has already been passed back to Heavenly Profound Continent. This level of cultivator, for their cultivator, is exactly the existence of God King. To deal with your loved ones, your Dugu family is really good. Wei Suo sneered at a surging sound. You used to frame Dugu Yun. Now that you have been through it for so many years, you have to spend such a great treasure to chase him. It is certainly not afraid that he will tell the truth, but because of something else. At the time I was great treasure, they dealt with the 5 brothers because the father chose him as the heir and wanted to pass on the strongest inheritance of my Dugu family. It is said to also include a vital great treasure. Dugu Yufan didn't dare to stop and replied. Wei Suo saw Dugu Yufan and the old man who looked very cloudy, but now dare not dare out of great treasure. What is the great treasure? I don't know this, it should only be known to my great treasure brother and 7 uncles, Dugu Yufan replied. Where did you hurt Dugu Yun? In the secret place. When he hurts him, can he have a companion present? Wei Suo blinked a bit and then asked, how is his injury? You can get his news before. We were wounded in a secret place between the Lekeng and the city of Bishan. At the time, he did not have any companions present. Dugu Yufan replied, he was injured by a poison left by my second brother with ancient poison. Although it will not fall quickly, it should be difficult to use true Yuan, and the poison of the poison is only used. 9 IG beads can be saved. If there is no shapeshift great art within 20 days, it will be poisoned. He was injured 3 days ago, so far we have not seen his naked body, but he should not escape the nearby cities. What else? Say it together. Since I have already intervened in this matter, if your Dugu family is working together, there is still some way to live. Do you think you can deal with him in the Dugu family? Wei Suo was also observing his words when he was asking. At the moment, When he saw Tugu Yufan's answer, his eyes flashed a bit. It seems that some words have not yet been said, and suddenly he said that there is no such thing as lust. At the auction in Immortal Armor City, we heard a message saying that there is a 9-dragon G bead to sell, and I want to lead him out. We think that if he does not appear, it is possible to ask someone to buy this thing, and then maybe he can find out his whereabouts. Tugu Yufan's naked body is another trembling, said. How did your Tugu family contact? If other cities receive Tugu Yun's news, will you tell me? Wei Suo asked. We just passed the message from the sky-breaking flames of my Tugu family. We are waiting here. We will get news from other cities. We will not pass it to us. We will only pass to Immortal Armor City. Because my great treasure brother and 7 uncles are in Immortal Armor City. Speaking of this secret place, Tugu Yufan hesitated, still said, because the auction of Immortal Armor City is about to begin now, the majority of our Tugu family's great treasure, now in Immortal Armor City. You take us to Immortal Armor City to meet your great treasure brother and 7 uncles. Wei Suo glanced at Ling Longtian and stood up and said to the two. Tugu Yufan and the old man did not have a trace of blood, but did not dare to have any defiance, and did not dare to have any words, took the road ahead. Immortal Armor City is run by Immortal Armor Sect, a medium artifact refinement sect with a golden core cultivator. Sect is made up of dozens of squares in a variety of styles. A variety of excellent monster beast shells are gathered in the city. There is only one tourmaline between the city and Gilacheng, and Wei Suo did not ask the Immortal Armor City auction to have a naked body in the secret place. Before Wei Suo is also never to Immortal Armor City, with Tugu Yun and the old woman behind, through the transmission shapeshift great art array relay, entered the Immortal Armor City, but is only see this Immortal Armor City size is also not small, based on a hilly, great treasure. There are 2 Spirit Peak City great treasure small, and Immortal Armor City. The building is also very distinctive, many are used in a variety of not used, the remnants of a variety of monster beast chitin fragment. Piled up. From a distance, it is also made of various kinds of shells. Kid, this Immortal Armor City auction will show that the size of great treasure is not small. To make green-robed old man a little surprised, I couldn't help but surging sound in Wei Suo's ear. Many cultivators walked in one direction along the way, and it seemed obvious to go to the Immortal Armor City auction. It's also exactly a great treasure auction anyway. This secret place is not far from Panwangchinj, just to see if you can find the things you need to consolidate originally. Wei Suo came to think about it all the time. In the end, it was directly hitting the Tugu family, and then directly sent out the news, letting Tugu Yun show up, or to make some low-key actions. After all, if you are completely high profile and reveal your identity and whereabouts, you may still have some troubles. The following may affect your search for green-robed old man and fearless heavenly palace. Now it's just a great treasure auction. When Wei Suo's sound transmission is given to green-robed old man, it's time to make a decision and decide to go low. Let's take a look at the auction and save Tugu Yun. 9 Eyes Heavenly Bead in this auction. 9 Eyes Heavenly Bead is a jade that can refine the shapeshift great art. To get rid of the poison of the ancient poison, you need to use it. At least it means that the poison left by the ancient poison is not simple. The fight is not directly arrogant to suppress, hence directly rob. By the way, C can help green-robed old man looking for the idea of condensate. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian is first let Tugu Yufan and old woman walked into a secret place, the remote alley, then let Tugu Yufan and the woman all changed a pair of dress, easy to allow, and then to Immortal Armor City, the secret place great treasure type auction shop. The great treasure auction was held in a secret place called Treasure Receiving Watchtower in the secret place. The secret place great treasure has a total of 3 floors, which can accommodate thousands of cultivators, and the buildings are carved with sapphire, and they are all inlaid with various sculpted genus. Going up to the beautiful. When Wei Suo and others arrived at the door of the secret place, the entire great treasure auction had officially started, and the two franchisees who had come to meet the company asked Wei Suo, knowing that Wei Suo and others did not enter the auction. After the token, the two clerk told Wei Suo apologetically that there was no room for the entire auction venue, so there was no cultivator to buy the token beforehand, and no shapeshift great art had entered. For the general cultivator, there may be no room for it, but for me, there should be a certain position. Listening to the two cultivators wearing yellow robes, Wei Suo just said this in a light way, and at the same time, a little golden core sunlight came out from the heart artery's secret place. For this kind of auction, Wei Suo knows it in Spirit Peak City, and all the markets will reserve some locations for the temporary arrival of some great treasure characters. For the general cultivator and sect, the Golden Core Great Treasure Cultivator is naturally an indispensable figure. Golden Core, this predecessor, please come with me. Sure enough, the two disciples in the yellow brocade, when they saw Wei Suo's intentionally revealing the Golden Core sunlight, suddenly looked like a great treasure, and then immediately in front of the road. Damn swindler, you're also going to be awkward. Ling Longtian does not move the sound of the sound transmission into Wei Suo's ear. The two disciples in the yellow brocade directly brought Wei Suo and his 4 people into the top of a luxury great treasure private room. I am most reasonable. People don't press me, I won't be polite, they will follow the rules. Wei Suo returned a sentence. This predecessor, I don't know how to call it. In the following is Xuanhuan, the treasurer of the city. I don't know the great treasure of the predecessor. Is it easy to intercourse? In the future, when I carefully looked at the lust shape of the entire auction venue, a blue-shirt literati dressed up, the white-faced middle-aged man who had no need to walked in and bowed to Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, and was very polite. Asked. It is obvious that the reception of the city of Disciple has informed the shopkeeper of the arrival of the Golden Core Cultivator. At this moment, the shopkeeper of the city has arrived in person. The 2 days Wuxi is getting cold, the old body naked body can't catch a cold, and it is dizzy, so I can only let Wei Suo Loki 2 chapters, and then I will recover and recover more. If you still haven't done it, then check out which chapters of the most popular novels have been updated. Chapter 863 Loki Act Novels Update the Fastest, A. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 864. Chapter 864 is a rare leisure. Since Wei Suo and Ling Longtian crossed the savage wilderness, Cloud Spirit was a moment's rest, and now continent Wei Suo place. Back to the heavenly profound continent, but for Wei Suo there is no great treasure thread exists, so now for Wei Suo, but it is a rare time for leisure, and such Golden Core Sea cultivators' privileges in cultivation world are quite enjoyable. Wei Suo swept the founder of the famous city, the cultivation base of the Thought Division realm second layer, but it was not weak. In the next surname Li after casually smashing a name, Wei Suo did not move the surging sound to look at the name of the sun namekeeper, not the 9 eyes heavenly bead, but directly asked the green-robed old man to shape the material. To be honest, I am thinking about buying some moon grass, golden crow fruit and silver starstone. This, after the name of Sun's shopkeeper hesitated a little, he said, this month, Xianko and Yingxingshi are known to have 1 or 2, but these 2 things usually have no cultivator. The auction is definitely a must. No, as for Golden Crow, I haven't heard of it underneath. I don't know if the seniors can give pointers to 1 or 2. Golden Crow is one of the materials used to refine Daopil, which may be slightly more difficult. Wei Suo glanced at Sun's treasurer and said. Yawu Daopil I know 1 or 2, just according to the record, this pill recipe has been lost. Even if such things exist, it seems that there are very few cultivators to collect today. Sun's shopkeeper sank a little, and asked Wei Suo to ask. I'm taking this auction great treasure, a lot of cultivators, helping seniors to buy information first. Suo nodded and said, "If you can bring these three things, I can exchange 300,000 copies of spiritual stones or shapeshift great art great treasure above spirit rank middle grade. 300,000 downscale spiritual stones or shapeshift great art great treasure above spirit rank middle grade." Sun's shopkeeper suddenly took a breath of air. The price given by the predecessors was too amazing. "No problem, I also know your rules. As long as you can help me find what I want, I can also give you a shapeshift great art great treasure above spirit rank middle grade." Wei Suo's gaze was slightly moved, and he immediately took out 4 shapeshift great art great treasures of spirit rank middle grade and went to the front of Sun's treasurer. Wei Suo's shapeshift great art great treasure on hand is very amazing, and basically shapeshift great art great treasure below Dao rank middle grade. For Wei Suo and others, there is nothing too great for secret treasure. If not before joining Heaven Transformation Cult Great Treasure, Wei Suo left all the precious treasures to Ji Ya and others. Later, the things that were obtained were basically obtained from the hands of his cultivator. Otherwise, Wei Suo is now at hand. The number of shapeshift great art great treasure on it is absolutely scary. But even so, this is not a secret place for many old antique characters, but it is just a thing left in the treasure receiving pocket. For the general cultivator, it is scary enough. For spirit rank middle grade shapeshift great art great treasure, this person's talent great treasure is amazing. When I saw 4 great treasures, the spirit rank middle grade shapeshift great art great treasure went straight to the front, and the breathing of Sun's treasurer was a good meal. Since the predecessors shot so amazingly, I will arrange it directly at the auction, and take 3 of the shapeshift great art great treasures out, and I will exchange them for golden crow fruit, maybe not even the cultivator present can provide information about it. After Sun's shopkeeper returned to God, he immediately looked at Wei Suo with respect. "Well, as long as you can provide the exact information, you can also give 1,000 rewards for spiritual stones directly." Wei Suo said, no sounding surging sound. "I don't know if Senior Li needs something other than these things," Sun's shopkeeper immediately asked, doing business with Wei Suo, a class of luxury, who is naturally a great treasure with a secret place. Water attribute monster core. High-level water attribute monster core is especially good. After Wei Suo sighed a little, he took out a treasure receiving pocket and clicked on the name of Sun's name, "But I hope that the water attribute monster core will be collected in the dark, but I don't want to disclose the size of great treasure acquisition. It is best not to let people notice that someone great treasure acquisition of water attribute monster core as well. At this auction, you can also help me find ahead and find an excuse to buy high-level water attribute monster core." After picking up Wei Suo's treasure receiving pocket, Sun's shopkeeper suddenly changed his face and his eyes looked a little dazed. "His divine consciousness is just a glimpse of it, and the spiritual stones in this treasure receiving pocket are amazing. I am afraid there are more than a few million in number. I am afraid there are tens of millions of spiritual stones." Although he knows that the golden core great treasure cultivator is not comparable to the general cultivator, he is also very clear that it is absolutely impossible to use the golden core cultivator of the number of spiritual stones. It is absolutely impossible to be a general cultivator. "Well, my predecessors, please rest assured that I will arrange this matter immediately. I will be rushed to many cities. A small amount of secretly collects the water attribute monster core. It must be arranged properly. It is not easy to make people feel that someone is collecting gold in great treasure attribute monster core." After Sun's shopkeeper took a deep breath, he did not say much, and received 4 shapeshift great art great treasures and the bag of spiritual stones. "This is the lottery for this auction then," Sun's treasurer also handed in a list. Wei Suo was also very familiar with this. After taking the list, he let Sun's name come to the store and began to look at the entire auction venue. I saw that the entire auction venue was a topaz platform, and the highly great treasure was flushed to the second floor of the venue. The high-top auction was hosted by a long-haired veteran wearing a red shapeshift great art suit and responsible for displaying one piece. The lottery is a young girl. The fifth lot is being auctioned at the moment. It is a yellow dragon jade. Yellow dragon jade is a natural jade that resembles a dragon-like pattern. It can be used to refine the nice shapeshift great art great treasure of rank. And now this piece of yellow dragon jade is 2 feet long, enough to refine the great treasure type of the shapeshift great art great treasure. A layer of great treasure hall is also decorated with one of the light cover. Cultivator is also only smell its surging sound, invisible, and 2 floors 3 floors are all a VIP box, all the VIP box and Weisuo before seen some great treasure auction is the same arrangement. The window has a layer of Xuanhuan cage, outside the people without shapeshift great art see inside the lust shape, but the inside of the people can clearly see the outside lust shape. Weisuo divine consciousness under the hood. The entire auction venue seemed to have restrictions that blocked divine consciousness. Divine consciousness swept out hundreds of feet and was bounced back. What are the people in your Dugu family? Or do you not know? Contact after you come in? Weisuo took a look at the lust shape of the auction venue and then looked at Dugu Yufan and the old man who had been afraid of any move during this time. My great treasure brother and 7 uncles should be in the room over there. As for the room where the other people of our Dugu family are, we don't know. Dugu Yufan reached out and pointed at a house in front of Weisuo's right side. Steel Teeth younger sister, how many cultivators are there? What kind of cultivation base does great treasure come to? Weisuo is facing the Ling Longtian saying with sound transmission. 4. A young man wearing a black shirt bat pattern shapeshift great art. The other 3 are male cultivators of the age of 50 and 60. The cultivation base is the young man and the male cultivator wearing a golden gown. Is the cultivation base of the thought division realm 5th layer. Ling Longtian snorted and seemed to tell Weisuo directly without looking at it. What is the cultivation base of your great treasure brother and 7 uncle? Weisuo did not move surging sound and looked at Dugu Yuyun and asked. My great treasure brother and 7 uncle are the cultivation base of the thought division realm 5th layer. Dugu Yuyun replied. It seems that your Dugu family is indeed a well-founded path of cultivation family, and the cultivation base is not low. Weisuo couldn't help but sneer. This is not ridiculous. The general sect has several cultivators of the thought division 5th layer, and the strength is not weak. Hearing Weisuo's sneer, Dugu Yufan and the old man didn't dare to talk, but they were very scared. They only thought that the Dugu family really played a piece of iron plate that was more precious than the sky. 9 Eyes heavenly bead is in the middle, star nuclear iron. I can't think of this kind of auction. This kind of thing will happen. Damn swindler, this essence metal, you have to buy it for me. In the end, there are some auctions of unknown antiquities. I don't know if there will be any good things inside. Ling Longtian and green-robed old man were the first to study the contents of the auction. For the current Weisuo's cultivation base, the general thing has no use for him. In addition to 9 Eyes heavenly bead, there is only one piece of interest that makes Weisuo and Ling Longtian interested in 9 Eyes heavenly. Before bead, there were 6 stars from the current yellow dragon jade. Star nucleus is the innermost essence metal residue in the comet. Although it is difficult to tell the material, it is extremely tough and is top grades essence metal. Looking at the list, this piece of star nucleus has a child's arm like great treasure, and the weight of tens of thousands of pounds. This thing should also be regarded as a heavy weight of the entire auction. The scale of the Immortal Armor City auction was indeed rare, with at least 3,000 cultivators in the field. Soon, a few things in front of this piece of essence metal were taken smoothly. With the surging sound of the long-term old man who hosted the auction, 6 of them are only the young girls of the level 2 Divine Sea stage 3rd layer cultivation base, and they are struggling to lift a piece of star-shaped nucleus on a black stone. Come out. This star-shaped steel-light iron has a prismatic shape with a silver-black surface and looks like a piece of moss on the surface, but when you look closely, it is a piece of black and black texture left after essence metal burns, like a small piece of small piece. The same as scars. Moreover, in addition to these textures, the entire surface is clearly covered with a layer of oily crystal light, as well as many fine sputtered traces. The black stone below seems to be the ordinary mountain stone that has been melted by the heat, melted, and condensed. The entire star-shaped nucleus, the iron, reveals vicissitudes of life and an extremely dignified atmosphere. There is no brilliance. 3,000 downs of spiritual stones. This piece of ferroniobium, the reserve price is 15,000 spiritual stones. Once it was lifted out, someone in the second floor of a VIP room immediately surging sound, directly doubling the price of the stele light. Just let me and Weisuo have a leisurely time. If you still haven't done it, then check out which chapters of the most popular novels have been updated. Chapter 864 is a rare and leisurely novel with the fastest text update, A Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 865. Chapter 865 Ye Family Brothers. 3,000 down products spiritual stones. 35,000 down spearing spirit stones. 40,000 down spearing spiritual stones. The price of star nuclear ferromonium has only passed the price of 40,000 products of spiritual stones after several price increases. 40,000 low-grade spiritual stones can buy a number of Shapeshift Great Art and Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure for spirit rank, but this top grade the essence metal of E is cultivator for sect or worthless that do not artifact refinement, but shapeshift for the rogue great art of refining or sect. It is priceless, because this level of essence metal is likely to refine the Deo rank shapeshift great art great treasure, and may even be refined to produce mystic rank shapeshift great art great treasure. 4,050 products of spiritual stones. 55,000 downscale spiritual stones. Some people shouted out the high price of 55,000 spiritual stones. There was no other bidding at the moment. Weisuo is enjoying this hard-won leisure at this moment. It is a must for this thing, so I have heard that there is no such thing. When people bid, they only shouted, 60,000 downscale spiritual stones. 655,000 downscale spiritual stones. 70,000 downscale spiritual stones. 705,000 downspearing spirit stones. A surging sound frequency and Weisuo bid competition, is the previous bid to 55,000 low-grade spiritual of the stone's surging sound. Originally Weisuo has not been noticed, but this person now surging sound more and more for glint. Weisuo did notice, this surging sound tone is from his left side of the VIP box, and his box also only separated 3 rooms. It's a young man wearing a purple gold shapeshift great art, but there is also a cultivation base for the golden core first layer. Ling Longtian glanced at the VIP box and said directly with the sound transmission Weisuo's ear. Now there are some faces that look like you can't wait to come and kill you. Yes, then let his face be greener. Weisuo smiled and raised the price again, 80,000 downscale spiritual stones. This auction great treasure, is the most likely to cause enmity between cultivator. One of the places, before the Weisuo cultivation base is not enough, is to secret place or to be cautious, if feel maybe not the role of the cause, sure, but now anyone who bidding against him because of the auction is going to hit the plate. Although he made up his mind to act low-key, he never minds hiding his identity and playing some miscellaneous fish. 90,000 downcells of spiritual stones at the younger age. The cultivator of the golden core first layer is definitely a person with a great treasure background. When Weisuo screams out 80,000 downscale spiritual stones, the young man immediately added 10,000 downscale spiritual stones, but when shouting out 90,000 downscale spiritual stones, the tone is extremely cold, and the threat is self-evident. 90,100 products under the spiritual stones. Weisuo haha smiled, but added 100 products to spiritual stones. His meaning is also in the air, obviously when the other party's threat is shit, hard and the other side. 100,000 down products spiritual stones. The surging sound of a young man wearing a purple gold shapeshift great art dress was again heard, apparently full of a strong murderous intention. This price is amazing. For this thing, I am afraid that there must be a party on both sides to bleed after going out. A lot of cultivators throughout the auction venue have also been shocked by this price, and many people secretly talk about it. 100,000 products under the spiritual stones. Weisuo is a haha smile, and again 100 more than the other. This person is completely gloomy and staring at us. It is estimated that he will not bid, and he will deal with you after great treasure. Ling Longtian sound transmission to Weisuo's ear. You are really a foodie. An essence metal is going to have so many spiritual stones, and your culture spent more spiritual stones, but more than our cultivator. Weisuo returned the phrase Ling Longtian. Now he and Ling Longtian contact for a long time, have not. Ling Longtian said, also see out, as long as there is a suitable essence metal for Ling Longtian swallowed cultivation words. Ling Longtian the strength of the upgrade is very amazing, and Ling Longtian's grey bracelet gives him the feeling of Ling Longtian now cultivation base, still far from the real wave of all its powerful energy, but he is also very clear, general essence metal has no effect on Ling Longtian at all. Many top grade and the best essence metal, like the artificial herbs such as amethyst fox rose, are not something that spiritual stones can buy. Even if you don't listen to it in the wilderness, you may not be able to find it. Therefore, Ling Longtian's culture also has a great treasure limit, and the resources consumed are indeed more great treasure than the cultivator. Damn swindler, you are now rich, and this is something that spiritual stones is for you. Ling Longtian didn't get angry and returned this sentence. The cultivator wearing the purple gold shapeshift great art suit did not bid again. Weisuo bought the Starcore Pharaohnyab at the price of 100,000 products for spiritual stones. Weisuo smiled a little, and now this little spiritual stones is nothing to him, just a heart and relaxation, deliberately ridiculed. But after a slight smile, his look was immediately and seriously, because the next 9 eyes heavenly bead about Tuguyuyun appeared. The next big treasure is called 9 eyes heavenly bead. It is rare and is said to be related to comets. It can be used to refine the shapeshift great art. The reserve price is 1,000. The product is spiritual stones. In the introduction of the long-haired old man, a young girl handed a jade plate and presented a 9 eyes heavenly bead. This 9 eyes heavenly bead is black and has a thumb-like great treasure. There are 9 natural white circles, like 9 eyes. Steel teeth younger sister, help me see the cultivator for each bid. Weisuo sound transmission into the ear of Ling Longtian. 1100 below spiritual stones. A bearded male cultivator wearing a great treasure red shapeshift great art robe, Thought Division First Layer Cultivation Base. 1,200 products of spiritual stones. A chunky bald, Heavenly Circuit 5th Layer Cultivation Base. 1,300 below the product spiritual stones. A guy dressed up by Wandering Monk is skinny. Ling Longtian didn't say much. Every time she had a cultivator quote, she looked at it directly and transmitted the appearance of the great treasure and the cultivation base directly to Weisuo's ear. 1,400 below spiritual stones. A handsome female cultivator. The competition for 9 eyes heavenly bead is not as amazing as that of the star-shaped nucleus. There are not many people who bid at the beginning, and they are only 100 up, but when someone hears 1,400 products of spiritual stones, Ling Longtian had just sounded a few words, Weisuo's figure was obviously shocked, and the obvious light was clearly released in his eyes, and he immediately stared at the place where the surging sound came out. This is the surging sound of a female cultivator, which is in the northeast corner of the great treasure hall below. How, do you recognize this surging sound? Is a handsome female cultivator, next to a burly male cultivator, face to face. Both of them are the cultivation base of the Thought Division First Layer. Seeing Weisuo's obviously excited god, lust, Ling Longtian also guessed 1 or 2, and licked his mouth and continued to say with sound transmission. It seems to be them, it seems that they were indeed with Duguyun. Before Wei Suo took a deep breath, Heart Lust is very excited. He is just an intuition. Intuition that the surging sound is very similar to Yegui's surging sound, but it is not certain, but now Ling Longtian says that he has already had an 80% affirmation. So this is the Ye family brother and sister? If it wasn't for you, they would be able to buy this thing and use it to save Duguyun. It is very dangerous. Green-robed old man is also a bit embarrassing. Listen again. Wei Suo took a deep breath and calmed down my mind. At this point, someone went out to 1,500 spiritual stones, and then, the surging sound of the female cultivator rang again, 1,600 spiritual stones. It should be them, this time. Wei Suo heard it very clearly. The surging sound was a bit sloppy and a little nervous, like the surging sound of Yegui. In order not to look at the blind, the eyes flickered for a moment. Wei Suo reached out to create a true yuan, direct great treasure to condense the appearance of Yegui and Ye Xiaozheng. Okay, that's the two. Ling Longtian glanced at it and snorted. It's really hard to break the iron shoes and secret place. It doesn't take much effort. Hearing Ling Longtian's affirmative answer, Wei Suo almost couldn't help but laugh. Previously, he tried every means to inquire about the news of Yejia's brother and sister, but they all had no news. I didn't expect to be called back to heavenly profound continent by Su Shenjun. It happened to pass through these cities. It was directly at this auction and I saw it again. Yeji auction. I don't know if they know what I am here at the moment. What kind of heart would be? Wei Suo couldn't help but have the urge to go down to see Ye brothers and sisters. Predecessors, Star Nuclear is sent to the iron at this time. The surging sound of Sun's shopkeeper rang outside the door, but Wei Suo's star-studded iron was just sent by him. Get in. Wei Suo asked Sun's shopkeeper to send the star core sputum directly. Then he looked directly at the shopkeeper and asked, Sun Zhengui, I heard that 2 cultivators in the great treasure hall below are my friends. Can you directly please come them up? Is there a friend of my predecessor? Sun Zhengui suddenly stunned and hesitated a little. He said, if 2 of the seniors are willing to come up, they can take them up immediately. Well, you bring this thing to them and say that it is an old person. They should naturally understand and come up with you. Wei Suo nodded. Directly will a jade talisman point to the Sun Zhengui before, this piece jade talisman, but it is Wei Suo in Spirit City, and Peak Nangong Ji contact with the arraignment jade talisman, and this jade talisman was a total of 4 pieces, Yegui and Ye Xiaozheng hands also have a piece. See this thing, 2 people will surely know, not Wei Suo, is Nangong Yuqing. I'm sure we'll meet up. Now Ye brothers and sisters are in this secret place. Wei Suo has no scruples. At this moment, someone just shouted 2,000 downs of spiritual stones. Wei Suo's heart was a little bit behind, and he couldn't help but laugh. Haha. Road, 20,000 pirates of spiritual stones. 2,000 downs of spiritual stones. Wei Suo is just happy in the heart, and screams like this, but his price is a sudden delay in the entire auction venue. What exactly? 2,000 directly shouted to 20,000. Many people really don't understand, and they are stunned. This is who, Duguyun's great treasure brother and 7 uncles in the VIP room. Several people suddenly stood up and couldn't help but brushed and looked at the room where Wei Suo was. Asterisk. If you still haven't done it, then check out which chapters of the most popular novels have been updated. Chapter 865. Yeji Action's novels have the fastest text update.